We just got some reporting on an incredibly obscure Marvel character that Tramell Tillman might be playing in Spider-Man Brand New Day, and while the character may not be of much interest to you, when you find out what their deal is, it makes another bit of this movie very interesting. Now I'm going to try my hardest not to spoil Spider-Man Brand New Day, because it's not out yet, I haven't seen it, I've heard rumors about like what it's about and who's playing what character and what, but that's all rumors at this point. I think the leaked trailer did help us understand the scope of this a little bit more, but like Tramell Tillman was not in there. And I think Tramell Tillman is great, obviously in Severance and whichever Mission Impossible he was in where he says,
"And you must be out of your mind."
Oh, also, my cat Mortimer is on my lap. He loves being here to talk about this movie because of all the rumors about cat characters. Black Cat could have been in it. Puma could have been in it. Black Panther could be in it. Probably not Black Panther. Yeah, never mind that. But anyway, okay, so Tramell Tillman got cast in Spider-Man Brand New Day a while ago. One of the only actors who has been cast, and we don't know what part he's playing. I went through a whole video of a bunch of characters that I think would be awesome as. A lot of those characters are pretty high-profile Spider-Man characters. You got Norman Osborn, Robbie Robertson, I can't remember who else was in there, but either way, there was a report from Nexus Point News today that suggested Tramell Tillman will be playing a different character, one nobody in a million years would have guessed. And it's because this character is just not incredibly consequential in Marvel Comics. The character's name is William Metzger. And it seems like in Spider-Man Brand New Day, this character is going to be in charge of damage control, which, if you've been watching some of the recent Marvel stuff, has been popping up a lot. Obviously, first showed up in Spider-Man Homecoming, but then Spider-Man No Way Home, now it's this organization that's kind of policing superhumans. We get something similar in Miss Marvel, and then in Wonder Man now, they're after Simon. The main, avatar of damage control has been Agent Cleary, although there's other people that work with him. We saw a lot more of them in Wonder Man, and perhaps now Agent Cleary is a West Coast guy or something, and this Spider-Man story I assume will take place in New York, so maybe Tramell Tillman's character William Metzger will be in charge of the New York division of damage control or something, which, if there is that, is the most important one, because New York is where all the superhero stuff happens. But okay, so William Metzger, he's only shown up in 6 issues of Marvel Comics. Not 6 in the last couple of years, 6 ever. And they were all part of one run, and it was called X-Men Children of the Atom. It was from 1999. And it was basically a retelling of the origin of the X-Men, the first 5 members of the X-Men, Cyclops, Jean, Angel, Beast, and Iceman, being recruited by Xavier while Magneto's doing other stuff. And then there's this other figure named William Metzger who's out there inspiring all kinds of anti-mutant hate. So that's basically what this character does in the comics. They send him on the fake Charlie Rose show and the fake View and even the fake Pilmar show. And he talks about how mutants are dangerous and we Homo sapiens, we need to protect ourselves and we have rights too, and they're gonna kill us all by accident, so we gotta do something about it, right? And while publicly at least he's not trying to actively get mutants killed, he's ginning up all kinds of hate that does end up getting a lot of mutants killed. And this is a huge problem for all these new mutants who don't have anywhere to go yet, and that this is why the Xavier Institute is created in this story. But in the comic, he's not part of damage control, he's not part of any government. He's just this guy who created a newsletter and goes on TV to talk about why mutants are bad. Also, he's based out of Trenton, which is a weird name drop for a New Jersey city for him to be based out of. But this character never gets superpowers, he just exists to antagonize mutants. And just so on his own, so it's a little weird to me seeing this William Metzger character. Not that I, when I saw it, I knew who that was, but when I Googled it and figured out his deal, weird that they took that character and made him at least a high enough ranking member of damage control that they need Tramell Tillman to play him in a movie where damage control is going to be antagonistic towards Spider-Man in some way. A couple other things that are important about this story. Professor Xavier manages to get in contact with a member of the FBI who is friendly and helps him out. They find out that the government is working with Metzger and they're also involved with Sentinels. So that character plays an interesting role. Then you've got what I think is maybe one of the most important things about this character, for me at least, connects him with Tramell Tillman. He has a mustache, and Tramell Tillman, obviously in those 2 things I mentioned, great mustache. I don't think that's 100% of why he has this role and why they picked this character, but I don't think it hurt. But I was thinking about William Metzger, the character, and who he reminds me of is Stryker, William Stryker from X-Men God Loves Man Kills, my favorite comic, the basis for X-Men 2, one of my favorite movies. In that comic, William Stryker is a reverend who becomes this anti-mutant hate figure. And while William Metzger is not connected to the church in that same way, he's the same kind of human character using fear and paranoia to fight mutants. But then when you think about it, this makes sense. You can see the shape of this because of how William Stryker was adapted from God Loves Man Kills into X2. They took the Reverend and turned him into a government agent. Here, we have this hate leader, and maybe we're going to turn him into a government agent. So he's going to be a different kind of character with a different status, but he's going to have that same hateful ideology towards mutants. Nexus Point News, I believe, even said that Tramell Tillman is expected to be in the next X-Men movie, and he signed on for a couple of movies. So even though he's not a significant character in the books, He seems to be playing a significant role here. But okay, so what else does this tell us about this movie? Because we don't know very much about Brand New Day. We actually know a lot, but it doesn't fit together in a way that makes sense. And I think I haven't said this yet, but I think it's important to note that like William Metzger is not a Spider-Man character. They've never met. There are characters who feel the same way about Spider-Man that William Metzger feels about the X-Men. So if Marvel wanted, they could totally make this character like Alistair Smythe or something like that. Not that he's a hate leader, but he creates the Spider Slayer robots, which are essentially the Sentinels of Spider-Man. Honestly, what William Metzger's doing is not that different from what J. Jonah Jameson does, except J. Jonah Jameson is kind of redeeming in other ways, and this character just is not. But I'm sure there is a Spider-Man character. There have been so many Spider-Man comics. There's somebody who is this, who is a guy who goes on TV and says Spider-Man's bad and he's going to get everybody killed or whatever. And you could just take that name and put it onto Tramell Tillman's character, who, you know, maybe you've already decided he's going to be an antagonistic agent of damage control. Well, like, he isn't based off a specific character, but like, you could find one, right? It feels intentional that they used an X-Men character here. It's also interesting because as of right now, there are no X-Men connections in this movie. There are connections to pretty much everything else. Obviously, we have Spider-Man and a lot of Spider-Man villains. We have Damage Control that's connected to Miss Marvel and Wonder Man. We have a Hulk, so we have an Avenger, and he comes with plenty of guys who could show up for one movie and say, like, we gotta get rid of all these superpowered guys. They're all really dangerous, including Spider-Man, but most of the Hulk. We also have the Punisher in this movie. He comes with his own stable of characters. If we wanted to use them, that would make a lot of sense. There are also rumors that other Marvel characters are going to be in this movie. I don't know which ones have been confirmed, so I don't want to say them here in case it's like a fun spoiler, but they come with their own connections and definitely with characters that could do this. But why X-Men? I kind of got to assume, and this is maybe as close as we're going to veer into spoiler territory here, so if you don't want to know things that may be revealed in the movie, I think we'll probably know this going into the movie, but either way, feel free to turn off the video now. I think this would suggest that whatever this mystery character Sadi Sink is playing, she is going to be a mutant or an X-Men even, probably, you know, before the creation of the X-Men. So honestly, in kind of the same time frame as this X-Men Children of the Atom book. And there are plenty of mutants she could be, even if you just want to take red-headed mutants. Because yeah, they could put on a wig in the movie, but it seems like she'll have red hair, and let's use that to kind of narrow down this field. There are 4 like high-profile mutants that could fit here, and one that people have been talking about for a while. And like, I made a video not too long ago about who Shothra is, because there were rumors that the Spider-Wasp was going to be the villain in this movie. And I probably said in that video, like, people think it might be this character, but I don't think that's true. Having seen the leaked trailer, seeing what Damage Control was doing in Wonder Man, and now knowing that William Metzger is going to be a main character in this movie, I do kind of think Sadi Sink is probably playing Jean. I think I'm Jean pilled on this one. Like, do I think it makes sense to introduce Jean Grey in a Spider-Man movie? No, but nothing we're doing in this Spider-Man movie makes sense, and it's probably still going to be really cool. So me looking at characters going, that one doesn't make sense. If anything, that would more qualify them for being here. My main knock against Jean Grey, and I have been thinking about this for a while, I think I've been like on the Jean Grey train for at least 2 months now, is that like, it would be weird if they introduced just Jean Grey. Like, I think we may get other X-Men if that's the case, maybe a Cyclops or something. But if we don't, you kind of assume they would want to wait until the actual X-Men movie is coming out to introduce this entire team. Although it's possible that they're just going to seed random X-Men members in other movies and shows, and then there's going to be a big X-Men event and they're all going to come together. Like, I don't know. That just doesn't feel like the way Marvel would want to do this now. I feel like they would want to start with the big X-Men movie, the big event movie, to make a statement like, this is what we care about now. So there are 3 other mutants that she could be that do fit this bill. Firestar, I think, personally, if I got to choose one, and it maybe wouldn't work with the story at all, but I think Firestar would be cool because she's a friend of Spider-Man's. She's in fact one of his amazing friends, and she's one of the few mutants who, like, while she has been on the X-Men, she is not known for being on the X-Men. So like, I would like to introduce Firestar in one of these movies or shows, but she's the one where it would be kind of weird if they introduce her in an X-Men thing, because that's just not her deal. Like, putting her here, genius. And then you should probably get Iceman too, honestly, for doing all 3. So we're running into the same problem of like casting X-Men that are just one-off characters in these movies before they go into the X-Men movie. But either way, like, if that was what this was, that'd be very cool. The other 2 characters it could be, because let's say, like, I think if it was Firestar, we would probably know by now. There would be like reports of big explosions on the set or something like that. I don't know. It seems like people think it's a Jean Grey kind of character. There are other characters that could be. The first one is Rachel Summers, and she's an easy one because she is the daughter of Jean and Cyclops from an alternate universe that has been ravaged by Sentinels. So like, so much comes together here if you have Rachel, because she could be a time traveler from the days of future past future, and she could say, you gotta watch out for these Damage Control guys. They're gonna make Sentinels. They're gonna put all of us mutants into camps and it's going to be dystopia. So I came back to fix it, and I will be around in the future, but like, you would not expect me to be on a core X-Men team. So like, I would make sense in the periphery here. The other character could be is Hope Summers. Hope is kind of interesting because Hope Summers does not have the same kind of powers. Like, Rachel has the same powers as Jean. She's also like the Phoenix like Jean is, although so is Hope at different times. But Hope Summers can copy other people's powers, and she is also the mutant messiah. So like, in a world where mutants are all but extinct, she is going to restart that entire species. So she's very important, and if this is a world, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that doesn't have mutants, maybe Hope Summers needs to do something to like make the mutants happen. I don't know. I don't think this is the one it is. Honestly, I think it's Jean Grey. I think the simplest answer is it is Jean Grey. She's going to be in a bunch of these movies in the future. They've cast a couple of other X-Men they haven't told us about. They might show up in like a post-credit scene or something. And I felt pretty confident about this. Like, I felt good about the Jean Grey thing before today, but now that we know Tramell Tillman is playing William Metzger, it's like, it's got to be it. Otherwise, why are we introducing X-Men characters into this, making it so complicated? I don't know. We'll see. I'm assuming we're going to get a trailer soon, not at the Super Bowl because they don't do trailers at the Super Bowl, but like sometime in the near future. Maybe that will clear this up. I think once we see her in the first trailer, we'll know if she's Jean or not. Because like, we know how Jean acts. We've seen all these movies. Like, I love the X-Men movies. I've watched all of them. In fact, that reminds me of a video I was watching by Lindsay, who makes amazing videos. It was called Trying to Make Sense of the X-Men Cinematic Universe Timeline. In it, Lindsay and Angelina partially just sort of reminisce about the wonderful Fox X-Men movies and like what they meant to superhero cinema at the time, and also try to connect them all to each other in what is, a fool's errand, and always has been for X-Men fans, but I think is a fun exercise and is a fun way to just like remember what we loved about these movies, kind of why they're fun and quirky. And that video is an hour and a half long. I don't know if technically it is longer than any X-Men movie to date. I would have to assume if it is, it's probably either X-Men Origins Wolverine or New Mutants or Dark Phoenix. Maybe those to me feel like they would be the shortest ones just because they're like not that great. But you can watch Lindsay's video right now exclusively on this video sponsor, Nebula. You guys have heard me talk about Nebula before. It is a subscription streaming service that I helped to create. A bunch of us video essayists, and I don't like call myself a content creator, but like content creators got together and were like, hey, these platforms we have to work with, they're great, but they have some problems. And the big one is we wanted to just make great videos, give them to you guys. We wanted to make a nice, clean, well-organized place where you can go to watch all of our videos. They all go up early, so every Nando V Movies video and Nando Cut video go up early. They're all ad-free. You can download them to your phone, which is a feature I don't hear nearly enough people talking about, but is incredibly useful. Like if you don't want to have to eat up all your data or deal with the Wi-Fi at the gym or something, download some videos. You'll have them with you. The videos on Nebula are all made by real people, and that didn't used to have to be a selling point, but now I think it might be the best selling point. There's also all kinds of cool videos you can only find on Nebula. Like Lindsay makes videos almost exclusively for Nebula. One of her most recent videos was about Bluey adults, and the one after that was about dash cam footage, so it really covers a pretty wide spectrum of things. Then you've got short films like Patrick Williams' Dinner Plan, or series like Maggie Mae Fish's Amy's Dead End Dream House. And you have what we haven't like fully announced, but will be coming out sometime next year, our show Subliminal. It's our first like dramatic series. I wrote an episode. I think it's pretty good. I've seen parts of it now because it's like coming together and been edited and all that, and like it looks great. I can't wait for you guys to see it. If you want to support us, give us more opportunities to do cool stuff like that, and you want to see our videos early, ad-free, download them and see other creators on Nebula, because all of your favorite creators and your next few favorite creators are on Nebula right now. Like there's something for everybody. And a yearly subscription to Nebula is $60 for a whole year. That is $5 a month. go.nebula.tv/thenandocut or the link in the description, or you use the QR code. You can get a year of Nebula for just $30. That is $2.50 a month. It is an incredible deal. Again, that is go.nebula.tv/thenandocut.